Hello everyone, welcome to today's 10 at 10. Our baking community has been sending in some really interesting questions. Let's get started with the first one. Has anyone used a humidity sensor, or hygrometer, to check the humidity level due to steam inside a commercial electric 4-deck oven? If so, please share the model of the sensor. This is a great question. Oven humidity is an essential variable in oven operations. However, too much or not enough moisture can lead to quality issues. By effectively controlling the oven environment, your baked goods will see improvements in texture and appearance. For those who may not know, oven humidity determines the speed of bake-out. The lower the humidity, the faster the water escapes from the surface of the bread, and so the faster the bread bakes and browns. It also assists in maintaining desirable sensory properties. A humid environment can keep the surface of a product moist. This improves the stretching of the oven spring and provides an equal break and shred. High humidity ovens provide the glossy crust observed on artisan and bagel-type bread. This is achieved by steam injection. Oven humidity can affect crust color, dough expansion, product volume, moisture content, and crust character, so it's vital to have the right tools to measure it. I would recommend checking out our friends over at ECD Baking and their mini mole. Compact and easy to read, the mini mole is a cost-effective monitoring solution for proofer, flour, dough, fermentation room, and cooling room conditions. This tool is simple to use and provides valuable information essential for delivering high baking yields. Most importantly, it will help you keep your specs right where you want them. If the cell structure changes because of the addition of extra fat and less moisture, does this affect the brioche shape? Brioche is a wonderful, sweet, fluffy, buttery bread. In France, there are historically two types of brioche: the rich man's brioche, which is 3 parts flour to 2 parts butter, and pain brioche, which holds 4 parts flour to 1 part butter. Traditional brioche is made of butter, milk, and eggs. Go to this page to get a basic formulation for a brioche, and you should be on your way to a wonderful loaf of this bread. Brioche is so aromatic because of the butter, eggs, high sugar, and long fermentation times. While many of us are so dialed into producing white bread products, inserting a bread like brioche into your product mix will not only cause havoc, but you'll never produce a high-quality brioche if you don't follow these tips. 1. Butter. 2. Eggs. 3. Osmotolerant yeast. 4. Processing conditions. 5. Egg wash. Ingredients affect the taste of the brioche as well as the shape. So the answer to your question is yes. But it's not only about the ingredients. Processing conditions are as important, and this is why. Since brioche is so high in butter, harsh processing temperatures would have to be omitted from your process. For example, dough mixing. Your final dough temperatures need to be closer to 75 degrees Fahrenheit than it is to 100 degrees Fahrenheit in many bakeries. What happens when you maintain a low final dough temperature? You keep the integrity of the fat crystals in there. When dough temperature gets too high, you will actually see the fat separate out of the dough. You want to prevent this by keeping the temperature of the dough down. Same with the proofer as well. Make sure that the proofer is closer to 85 degrees Fahrenheit, so that the fat doesn't get separated from the product. Now, if you use a shortening product instead of butter, then this wouldn't be an issue, but you will lack or need to add the butter flavor. Lastly, watch for oven spring. With this much increase in protein content, the strength will give you a good pop in the oven. Remember, what goes up must come down. Therefore, your product will see some kind of wrinkling or collapse if you experience a huge oven spring. Be sure to check the thermal profile of your brioche and determine when yeast kill is happening. You want to target a 45 to 47% yeast kill so that you can nip that oven spring in the bud. Remember, I said no oven spring. Watch your mixing and proofing temperature and definitely your oven spring. I was checking out the formulation for brioche on the Bakerpedia website and had a doubt. Is the yeast percentage correct? It seems very low at 1.6%. Ah yes, the science behind brioche. The sugar content of a brioche formula is usually over 22% dry flour weight. At this amount, it creates osmotic pressure and impedes fermentation by pulling water away from the yeast. Higher levels of yeast, at about 7 to 10%, will allow for a reasonable shorter fermentation time. Otherwise, you can use an osmotolerant yeast, which is unaffected by this high amount of sugar. Also, you can then reduce the yeast to about 1 to 2%. By using an osmotolerant yeast, you can control the cost of your formulation and improve the processing times. The formulation on the brioche page includes osmotolerant yeast. This type of yeast is commonly used in rich doughs, high sugar or salt, such as croissants, brioches and sweetbreads, donuts, Danish pastries, and coffee cakes. One of the most notable considerations when using osmotolerant yeast is that its usage level is between 1 to 3% in baker's percentage. Also, it must be mixed with flour or during the initial stages of mixing. Some advantages of osmotolerant yeast are that it provides around 10 to 20% more activity in rich doughs than its non-osmotolerant counterpart, as well as uniform fermentation through the whole baking process. Not to mention, it reduces mixing time by 10 to 30% compared to compressed yeast. Many bakers switch to dry yeast when they scale up in their bakeries, as it is the easiest to handle. Bakers love dry yeast or quick-rise dry yeast because it has a longer shelf life and is easy to dispense. However, it's the most expensive form of yeast. So, try to ship them in as LTL on pallets and save some money there. All right, next question. What can I substitute eggs with? Navigating egg replacement in baking can be a challenge. But don't worry, there are many alternatives available out there to address egg replacement. Firstly, go to the egg replacement page to understand the functionality of egg and how to replace it. Remember, when you switch out eggs, the foaming, emulsification, stabilization, and texture of the batter have to be replaced by a few ingredients found on this page. These days, as the price of eggs continues to soar, plenty of bakers are looking for solutions to replace eggs in their baking applications. However, shelf life, allergens, and the vegan baking trend are also concerns for bakers looking to reduce their dependency on this bakery ingredient. Be sure to visit the Baker Academy to check out our resources and training material on egg replacement. Good luck with your egg replacement project. Is vinegar a leavening agent by itself? Actually, vinegar is a leavening acid. Leavening acids are a group of organic and inorganic acids that form a component of chemical leavening systems. Chemical leaveners are used to provide volume and characteristic crumb structure in batter cakes and other sweet baked goods. In conjunction with a food-grade base such as baking soda, leavening acids produce carbon dioxide, which provides the leavening or expansion effect in baked products. This mixture is commonly known as baking powder, which often includes a carrier or vehicle, such as starch. In the case of vinegar, when it is added with sodium bicarbonate, it produces gas, but it is not a leavening agent by itself. A leavening agent is an ingredient with the main function of producing, including and trapping gas, air or CO2, in a dough or batter. One obvious function of leavening agents is the expansion of dough or batter to produce a volume increase, which improves product texture and appearance. Okay, that's all we have time for today. See you next week, bakers. Happy baking!